Hey there Wargamers, Jstncloud here with another video on my Tactical Tuesday series, and this is my second video opening up the new year. And with this video I'm going to talk about being open-minded to new games. I would like to wish all of you guys a happy new year and apologize for not having videos out in December. You know, with holidays and finishing up college, or my fall semester of college, and wrapping up commissions and so forth, December was a pretty busy month, and I just didn't have much time to game, let alone be able to get some videos shot up for you guys. So, with that being said, I would like to encourage everyone out there to start their new year open-minded to new games. I do know that the cost investment can be a little bit painstaking, but here before us I have some models as just visual aid for what I'm going to go through. Malifaux and Mercs. If you're looking for a new game to get into and you're low on dollars and your playgroup's interested, you can start Malifaux and Mercs for right around $60 each, give or take, depending on where you shop online with their discounts. So, what else would I like to talk about with being open-minded to starting new games? I'm going to start this little discussion off with a experience I was involved in probably about a week and a half ago. I was up at a gaming shop and I was playing 40K, which I haven't got to do very much since the new Space Marine book came out. Playing against a guy who was using Chaos, and we had a young gentleman approach us, and I'm flattered when people admire my models. It makes me feel really good, despite the fact I'm a professional commission painter. But it does feel nice when someone just walks up and says, "Hey, can I look at that?" Well, this guy walks up and he's asking a lot of questions. You know, what Chaos faction is that? Oh, it's Khorne? Or the Space Marines? Oh, Space Marines versus Chaos. And he was really interested in the fluff. He obviously had a good grasp of some of the background lore of 40K. Well, he was discussing with me a lot about painting, and then the conversation went into what games to get into. He was weighing in on getting into 40K or War Machine. Now, for anyone out there who's watching my videos, or may, if someone watches that knows me in real life, you know that I am diehard 40K. That is what I like. But I'm not so set my ways that I won't try new games. And I do understand that 40Ks can be very expensive to get into. Well, this guy was asking me the pros and cons, and I told him, I basically said I felt that War Machine was more of a skirmish type battle game, lower model counts, and 40K was more of like a large scale battle game with bigger battles happening. And I told him that both companies have good quality models, both games are respectively fun to play, and then I said, but if you're on a budget, War Machine is cheaper to get into. For $200 or less, you can easily get into War Machine, easily. $200 or less than 40K, you may have a starter box, a codex, and a rulebook. I mean, you probably don't even have enough to play, or at least not the lower end point totals your shop's going to play. On the other, on that same note, I also discussed with him people that you're going to play with. Is the shop you're going to play with not play War Machine? If so, there's no point in getting into War Machine other than to paint the models. You have to kind of look at your demographics. So I was try to be unbiased with him and explain to him everything about it. And we have this other gentleman who approaches and goes, quote, "No, get into 40K," end quote. And I respectively said, I basically think you should be open-minded to all games and don't lock yourself into one. The moment that a gamer says, I play War Machine and I refuse to play 40K, or I play 40K, I refuse to play War Machine, excuses aside, maybe it's money, that's one thing, but to be so fanatical with your game that you're not open-minded to another one, you're literally only hurting yourself. There are people who only play War Machine or have just started War Machine that are good people, could make good friends, and you couldn't meet them by trying the game. Vice versa with 40K. In addition to the games being different games, different systems, same scale models, basically different systems. So it's kind of like saying, well, I've played Final Fantasy, I'm not going to play Mass Effect. They're both RPGs, but I refuse to play it. You're really only hurting yourself because that's a new game system you could be exposed to. So that is what this video is about, is players being open-minded to new games and players not dogging on other players. A lot of players out there who play 40K are super against War Machine, and vice versa, or people that play War Machine hate Games Workshop. You may dislike Games Workshop's policies, but their models are still fantastic, and the rules, aside from some issues here and there, they're still solid. So have your quibbles, whatever, with Games Workshop, but still be open-minded to gamers. Don't push them away. You need to embrace them and encourage them. You know, there's not very many. I mean, there are war gamers out there, but we're a breed of our own, so we should be taking care of our own, enjoying the games plural together, and embracing them. And not just these. We're talking X-Wing, miniatures, card games. If you don't like those games, that's fine, but don't knock them till you try them. I know that sounds cliche. My mom used to say that with food growing up, but you know, don't knock them till you try them. So let me do a quick review of what we've got here, and then I will wrap this video up. So here we've got Commander Farsight. Hopefully Austin's going to have the photos up of him on Facebook here shortly. I finished him up. Really enjoyed the model. I know he's not pure red, but he matches my Tau. Thought the model looked fantastic. That's Tau, Warhammer. This is an old Captain. It was formerly Captain Sicarius, so Lightning Claws. Now I believe it's just Captain with Lightning Claws, out of print model. Space Marines for Warhammer 40K. So that's a game if you are a watcher who is somehow into something other than 40K, because that's what most of my videos have been on so forth. So I'm assuming the people that have liked or subscribed are 40K fans. That is a game that's interesting to get into. Please be open-minded to it, and know that there can be a dollar investment. It is a little bit expensive. Now we've got Mercs here, just as one model as representation, so I'd remember to talk about them. This is FCC House from Mercs. You can start the Mercs faction for I think 55, 60 bucks, give or take. Not a bad investment, and that's literally, unless you want to spend an extra 10 bucks, you will have everything that's come out for this faction, and you won't need to spend any more money. So, what miniatures game can you get into for $60 and have everything you need? Not bad. So, if your playgroup's interested in Mercs, there's a variety of houses, all, you know, minimal investment, good game to try out. Here we've got Lady Justice from Malifaux, and she's from the new Guild Crew 2.0 box. You can get that box. I got that box. The cards are needed to play the game, and an additional Guild Rifleman set for less than 65 bucks online, shopping for discounts. So you can get into Malifaux at a reasonable investment, and you won't need to buy any more. So be open-minded is what I'm getting at, because there are options for miniatures games that are affordable. And the last model we have here is for my second favorite game next to 40K. This is Ashlyn DeLise from War Machine. Just finished her. We haven't got photos taken up at Brush for Hire yet, so you guys kind of getting a sneak peek of her. That's another game that I enjoy, War Machine. If you were to look at these in dollar investments, 40K is probably the most expensive. War Machine is probably the next most expensive. Malifaux and Mercs are relatively cheap in comparison. So I enjoy War Machine. The game's fun. I was that stereotypical guy who was very adamant about not playing War Machine or any other miniatures. I quote said, "I'm not getting into these games. I'm in 40K and I have all these models, blah, 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 blah." Well, once you get exposed to a group that doesn't like 40K as much as you have to adapt. And that's why I've opened my mind up and tried to be open-minded to new games. So I love War Machine. The game system's fun. For anyone who is a 40K fan and never tried War Machine, I would definitely advise it. If you are a War Machine and or 40K fan and you have never tried Mercs or Malifaux, those games are really unique, a lot different than War Machine or 40K. I would definitely advise checking those out. Maybe just borrow some models from a friend, or make the jump and dump the 60 bucks to try the game. So anyways, guys, as always, I hope that this was somehow informative. I hope that you guys will take my suggestions and start the new year being open-minded to new games. A lot can happen in 365 days, so maybe this time next year you'll have a Merc crew or Malifaux crew, or maybe a different game altogether. Maybe you're going to get into Infinity or Dead Zone or whatever. Maybe this will enlighten you to be open-minded, and maybe there are other gamers out there who enjoy playing a variety of games just because they enjoy being social. So, as always, please like, subscribe if you enjoyed this. Please feel free to comment below. Let me know what you liked, didn't like, and I'm going to try and continue to improve my videos. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and happy wargaming.